about Ivy City Smokehouse, how this came to be, because you've been part of this community for a long time.
30 years.
30 years. Ivy City more recent, about 4 years ago?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Right, so Ivy City started, ProFish is a wholesale distributor that specializes in high quality seafood. And Ivy City is smoked fish, high quality. And it started as an extension of that.
One of the things that I've seen grow here in this city over the last, I don't know, decade or so, this has really become a foodie town, and it's really become a town, you know, you used to have the traditional steakhouses and the power restaurants and everything, but now there's a little bit of everything. That's got to be good for you, and you've got to be happy about that.
I'll tell you what it is, and being in the fish business, I've seen it for years. People want to know where their food came from today, and they want to know who made it and how they made it and what's going into their body today more than ever before. And DC, the whole Washington area, is a highly educated area, and so people gravitate towards this. By that I mean the entrepreneur businessman in the restaurant wants to be here because it's the foremost market in the country, or one of them. Look,
what are some of your most cherished memories of the city, whether it's you know, from your youth or in more recent years, some of the things that really stand out to you?
There's so many places to go and have fun. There's Washington Harbor in Georgetown. There's the new wharf. Buzzard Point's about to come alive. Now we have a baseball, a football, a soccer stadium, all state of the art. Well, the hockey's not state of the art, but the team's a championship caliber, so it doesn't matter. And it feels state of the art. There's just so many wonderful things. And you know, my favorite memories go all the way back to like the Redskins winning the Super Bowl in the early 80s, and the conversion at Wisconsin and M in Georgetown, which at the time was the epicenter of the social world of Washington, D.C., and now is just one of many, with Phil in the streets, and people they just love, this is a Washington Redskin town.
Right.
They love the Redskins.
What are some of your favorite places to visit, whether it's a place that you like to hang out, a restaurant you like, aside from your own, or someplace you go just to chill?
Well, so I'm a biker by nature, so I like to find those obscure little parts. I actually bike the Anacostia Trail. I love what Washington's doing with the Anacostia River. I love history. A lot of people don't realize the British Army came to Washington on a barge right down a river, that when I started here at the Dancing Crab in 1984, the Anacostia River was about an inch deep and was pure mud.
Yes.
And today it's 4 or 5 feet deep. The city is a leader in environmental work, and putting that, I just love going up in those little byways. It's fun exploring where no one's been, or going down to where George Washington grew up in Mount Vernon, being able to touch that. There's a lot of American history, Revolutionary War, Civil War, War of 1812, and the federal government's history here as well. It's just fun. It's fun to learn about.
Sometimes you forget about all this great history and culture.
Who knows about the Titanic Memorial, right? I mean, Washington, D.C. has a memorial to a British ship that went down, evidently because the captain was a little stubborn, or the Samuel Gompers statue, which a lot of people don't understand who he is, right? But a huge, important guy in the labor movement in America. I didn't know who he was, but I saw his statue. I read up the history, and I'm like, oh, look at that. That's a guy deserving of a statue. And throughout all the nooks and crannies in Washington, there's little nuggets of history that nobody thinks about.
I used to be a tour guide here when I was in college, so I learned.
Tough job.
Yeah, I loved it though.
You have to learn a lot.
You have to learn a lot. I have forgotten some of it, but it was a great way to learn, or in some ways even relearn the city. It's really, really wonderful.
Totally. I mean, and I'm fortunate. I'm involved with Destination DC, that does a lot of events at different tourist places, and I can't remember the name of the place, but the Navy has a little get-together hall over on Pennsylvania Avenue. You'd have no idea. You look at this building outside, it looks like a house. You go inside, and it's a stateroom where I think it was Eisenhower met somebody, and you just never know when you go to D.C., right? Or Billy Martin's Tavern, you mentioned restaurants. Jacqueline Kennedy and John F. Kennedy sat there and had lunch together, and it's marked on the booth. What other city can you go in and sit where a president courted his wife to be
Right,
in
right.
that city. It's just very rare to find.
Great stuff. Greg, it's a joy seeing you again after
There
all
you
these
go.
years.
How about that?
And a
huh?
joy talking to you.
You got it, man.